The galaxy had known peace for 3,000 years. The Collective, a union of 12 ancient species, had conquered every corner of known space. They had mapped every star, cataloged every world, and subjugated every race they encountered. Their warships numbered in the millions. Their soldiers were born for battle. Their technology could crack planets like eggs. But there was one small blue world they had chosen to ignore. Admiral Vexinar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Conquest, and stared at the holographic projection of the primitive planet. His 4 eyes narrowed with contempt. The humans called it Earth, such a simple name for such a simple species. "They are nothing," he declared to his council. "They fight among themselves. They poison their own air. They have not even colonized their neighboring worlds properly. This conquest will take perhaps 3 rotations of their small moon." His weapons officer, a tall creature with scales like black diamonds, stepped forward. "Admiral, the ancient records speak of this species. The Watchers left warnings about them before they vanished. Perhaps we should study these warnings before we proceed." Vexinar laughed. It was a cold sound, like metal scraping against stone. The Watchers disappeared 10,000 years ago. They were cowards who feared everything. Their warnings mean nothing to us now. But Admiral, the text specifically says never stir that sleeping giant. It says to let them be, to let them destroy themselves, to never give them a reason to unite. The Admiral waved his hand dismissively. Superstition. Fear. The Watchers were weak, and that is why they are gone. We are the Collective. We have crushed 1,000 worlds. What can one species of soft-skinned creatures do against our might? The council fell silent. None dared to argue further. The Admiral had made his decision, and the invasion fleet began its approach toward Earth. The humans detected them 3 days before arrival. Their primitive satellites and radio telescopes picked up the massive energy signatures of 10,000 warships. World governments fell into chaos. Some surrendered before the ships even arrived. Others prepared for a fight they knew they could not win. But something strange happened in those 3 days. Something the Collective had never witnessed in all their centuries of conquest. The humans stopped fighting each other. Every war ended. Every conflict paused. Every petty dispute was forgotten. For the first time in their entire history, humanity spoke with one voice. And that voice said no. Admiral Vexinar expected panic. He expected surrender. He expected to see humans on their knees, begging for mercy as every other species had done. Instead, he received a message broadcast on every frequency, in every language, reaching every ship in his fleet. You should not have come here. Turn back now. This is your only warning. The Admiral laughed again. He ordered his fleet to take formation around the planet. He commanded his soldiers to prepare for ground assault. He aimed his weapons at their largest cities and demanded immediate surrender. The humans sent back one word. No. Vexinar gave the order to fire. 100 warships unleashed their weapons upon a city called New York. The beams of destruction rained down from the sky, and the Admiral watched with satisfaction as fire consumed everything below. When the smoke cleared, he expected ruins. He expected death. He expected victory. But the city still stood. Some kind of energy shield had appeared above it, deflecting every shot. The Admiral's eyes widened in confusion. His sensors had detected no such technology on this world. Where had it come from? How had these primitives built something that could stop weapons designed to destroy mountains? Impossible, he whispered. Then the counterattack began. From the surface of the Earth, missiles rose like angry hornets. They were not nuclear weapons, as the Collective had expected. They were something else. Something new. Something the humans had apparently been building in secret for decades, waiting for this exact moment. The missiles struck the Collective fleet, and ships began to explode. One after another, the mighty warships that had terrorized the galaxy for 3,000 years turned into expanding clouds of debris. The shields that had never been breached were suddenly useless. The armor that had withstood every weapon was suddenly paper. Admiral Vexenar screamed orders at his crew. He demanded answers. He wanted to know how this was happening. But there were no answers. There was only chaos and death and the terrible realization that he had made a mistake. Within 1 hour, half his fleet was destroyed. The humans did not stop there. Their ships began to rise from hidden bases across the planet. They were crude things, built quickly and without elegance. But they were fast and they were deadly. Thousands of them swarmed into space like angry insects, and they attacked with a ferocity the collective had never encountered. The aliens fought to survive. They fought to escape. They fought to retreat. But the humans gave them no opportunity. Every ship that tried to flee was hunted down. Every escape pod was captured. Every surrender was accepted, but every attempt to continue fighting was met with overwhelming force. By the end of the day, the invasion fleet was gone. 10,000 warships reduced to floating wreckage. 3 million soldiers dead or captured. Admiral Vexenar himself was dragged from his escape pod and brought before a human general. The general was a woman with gray hair and cold eyes. She looked at the defeated admiral with no hatred, no anger, only a kind of tired disappointment. "We told you to turn back," she said. "We gave you a warning." "How?" Vexenar demanded. "How did you do this? You were supposed to be primitive. You were supposed to be weak. Our intelligence said you had no weapons capable of threatening us." The woman smiled slightly. "Your intelligence was wrong. We have been watching the stars for a very long time, Admiral. We have been listening to your communications. We have been learning your technology, and we have been preparing. Preparing? For how long? Since before your collective was born. Since the first of your kind looked up at the sky and dreamed of conquest. We knew you would come eventually. We knew someone would try to take what is ours. So we waited. We pretended to be weak. We pretended to fight among ourselves. We let you believe we were nothing." Vexenar felt a chill run through his body. "You were hiding your true strength. We were sleeping, just as the Watchers warned, but you woke us up. And now we are very, very awake." The news of the defeat spread across the galaxy faster than light. The collective could not believe it. They sent another fleet, larger than the first. That fleet was destroyed in hours. They sent a third fleet, the largest armada ever assembled in galactic history. That fleet never even reached Earth. The humans met them halfway in the empty space between stars and tore them apart. Within 1 year, the collective sued for peace. Within 5 years, they surrendered completely. Within 10 years, humanity had taken their place as the dominant power in the galaxy. The other species watched in amazement and terror. They had seen the collective humiliate countless worlds. They had watched ancient civilizations fall before their might. But they had never seen anything like this. They had never seen a species go from apparent primitive to galactic superpower in the span of a single generation. Representatives from dozens of worlds came to Earth seeking answers. They wanted to know how the humans had done it. They wanted to understand the secret of their power. The human leaders told them the truth. "We are not special," the President of the United Earth said to the assembled ambassadors. "We are not smarter than you. We are not stronger. We are not more advanced. But we have one thing that none of you seem to possess. We have rage. The aliens did not understand. When you threaten us, we get angry. When you attack us, we get angrier. When you try to take our home, our families, our future, we become something else entirely. We become a force of nature. We become unstoppable. We become the thing that every species in the universe should fear. But how did you build such weapons in secret?" One ambassador asked. "We did not build them in secret. We built them in plain sight. Every rocket we launched for science could carry a warhead. Every satellite we put in orbit could become a weapon. Every factory that made cars could make tanks. Every laboratory that studied medicine could create bioweapons. We have spent our entire existence preparing for war, even when we were at peace. It is in our nature. The ambassadors looked at each other with growing fear. They had thought the humans were primitive because they fought among themselves. They had thought the constant warfare on Earth was a sign of weakness. Now they understood the truth. The constant warfare had been practice. The endless conflicts had been training. Every war in human history had been preparation for this moment. The Watchers tried to warn us, one ambassador said quietly. They said the humans were too dangerous. They said to leave them alone. The Watchers were wise, the president replied. They understood what we are. They saw our potential for destruction, and they chose to disappear rather than face us. Your collective should have listened to them. The ambassador trembled. What will you do now? Will you conquer us as the collective conquered others? The president shook her head. No, we have no interest in ruling the galaxy. We only wanted to be left alone. We still want that. Go home. Tell your people that Earth wishes to be a friend to all who come in peace. But also tell them this. If anyone ever threatens us again, we will not show mercy. We will not accept surrender. We will not stop until every ship is destroyed, every world is burned, and every memory of our enemy is erased from the stars. The ambassadors left Earth and spread the word. The humans were not to be disturbed. The humans were not to be provoked. The humans were not to be woken from their sleep. A new age began in the galaxy. It was an age of peace, but it was a peace built on fear. Every species remembered what had happened to the collective. Every leader knew what the humans were capable of. Every child grew up hearing stories of the sleeping giant that lived on a small blue world near an unremarkable yellow star. And somewhere in the vast archives of the galaxy, the ancient warning of the Watchers was finally given the respect it deserved. The words were carved into monuments on 1,000 worlds, a reminder to all who might forget. Never stir that sleeping giant. Let them dream their dreams of peace. Let them fight their small wars among themselves. Let them believe they are alone in the universe. Because if you wake them, if you give them a reason to unite, if you show them that there is an enemy to fight, they will not stop until they have won. The collective did not listen to this warning. The warning died unheard. And so did they.